All right, let's get right into it. What we're looking at today isn't just a song. No. This is a full-blown courtroom drama, a psychological thriller, a trial for a man's very soul, all packed into Joe Budden's track, Pray For Me. We're going to break down this deep dive into life, death, and what happens when you have to answer for everything. The story just yanks you in with this absolute gut punch of a line. There's no slow fade out, just a sudden, shocking start. I woke up without a heartbeat. Can you even imagine that level of disorientation? The whole narrative kicks off at the literal end of life, throwing both us and the protagonist right into the deep end.
And that opening line, it immediately forces you to grapple with this huge question. What if everything you've ever done, every good deed, every bad choice, was suddenly put on trial, and you had to defend it all, right then and there? That is the core of this entire story, the conflict we're about to see unfold.
So let's start at the beginning of the end. We're following our guy's journey from a sudden, violent death right into a reality that is completely unknown and, frankly, terrifying.
The song just nails this feeling of total confusion and helplessness with this line, a loud noise without a voice. It's a paradox, right? But it perfectly captures that shock, that powerlessness. He's trying to scream, but he has no voice, no control. It's the raw psychology of a traumatic event.
And this just brilliantly shows how everything he knew has been stripped away. His context, his identity, all the things that ground us in reality are just gone. He's completely vulnerable, reduced to nothing but his essence, his soul.
The scene itself is so sterile, so undefined, just all white. It's not heaven, it's not hell, it's like a cosmic waiting room. And the judge, a man with no face. So we're not talking about some old man with a beard on a cloud. This is a formless, absolute authority, which makes the whole encounter so much more intimidating.
Okay, now we move into the arraignment. This is where the talking starts. But make no mistake, this is not a friendly chat. This is the official start of the trial, where the charges are about to be read.
So who is this guy on the stand? Well, this slide sums him up perfectly. He's not some devout believer. He's just a guy. A guy who thinks that, all in all, he ain't done too much wrong. And that's his opening defense, really. It's that classic justification we all kind of tell ourselves, isn't it?
And boom, there it is, the divine challenge. The faceless judge lays it all out. This isn't about just squeaking by and avoiding the bad place. This is about earning your spot in the good place. The burden of proof is entirely on him. Tell me what you've done to deserve to be let in. The trial is officially on. All right. On to the next phase, the prosecution's case. Our defendant has made his claim. He's a pretty good dude. Now, the prosecution, who happens to be God himself, starts pulling up the receipts on his life.
Before the actual list of charges even comes out, the defendant offers up this incredibly profound psychological defense. Hurt people, hurt people. It's so powerful because it's both an admission of guilt and a plea for empathy. He's basically saying, yes, I did wrong, but I was a product of the pain that was inflicted on me.
This slide just lays out the central conflict so clearly. On the left, you've got all the human excuses. Oh, that was so long ago, but I was just a kid, I was desperate. It's what we all do. But on the right, divine judgment is absolute. It's black and white. It's still a sin. There's no statute of limitations here. This is the epic clash between our flexible human morality and a rigid divine standard.
And the charges, they're not minor infractions. We're talking about the fundamentals here. God basically reads off the 7 deadly sins: anger, envy, greed, the whole list. This isn't about 1 or 2 mistakes. The prosecution is arguing his entire character was built on a foundation of vice.
And right here, this is where the whole trial flips on its head. Section 4, the defense's rebuttal. Backed into a corner, with the evidence piling up, our defendant does something unbelievably audacious. He stops defending himself, and he starts prosecuting God. His opening argument is a question that has probably echoed in every human heart since the beginning of time. It's the problem of evil. If you're so good and powerful, why do you let bad things happen to good people? Why do you take away the things we love? He's putting the Creator's own morality on trial.
And he does not pull any punches. He points to the injustice and the chaos of the world as Exhibit A in his case against God's management. This line, it's such a raw, street-level critique of inequality, but he's aiming it directly at the architect of the whole system.
He goes straight for the emotional jugular with this one.
He points to the most indefensible, random kinds of suffering imaginable. He's asking, how can a loving creator design a world where innocent people suffer for no reason at all? This is the ultimate challenge to the idea of a just universe. And this is his mic drop, his checkmate move. It is a profound accusation of entrapment. He's basically saying, you created a broken world, a hell on earth, filled it with flawed people like me, and then you have the nerve to get mad when we fail? You set me up.
So, the defense rests. Phew, the arguments have been made. Let's get to the final act. Section 5, the judgment. But this isn't just a simple guilty or not guilty. It's a lesson that completely changes the game.
God's response isn't to argue back point by point. Instead, he completely reframes the entire debate with this one single idea. That statement transforms the whole story from one about suffering into one about testing. The hardships weren't random cruelty, they were challenges, they were opportunities.
And here is the twist, the big aha moment of the whole song. God reveals that he was there in the defendant's life all along, disguised as ordinary people. The person on the train asking for change, the store clerk he robbed. These weren't just random events, they were tests of character, chances for redemption that he completely missed.
So after all of that, what's the verdict? In maybe the most shocking turn of all, it's not damnation. It's a second chance. This whole thing, the death, the trial, it was all a divine intervention, a cosmic wake-up call to shake him from the path he was on.
And that is the ultimate lesson here. The point of this whole trial wasn't to condemn him, it was to teach him. God is sending him back, but with a very clear mission, be a better man. Because the next time they meet, as that final line implies, the talking is over. The final judgment will be silent.
Which leaves us with this final, incredibly powerful question for ourselves. The song basically forces you to put yourself on that stand. If you were given this brief stop, this cosmic warning and a second chance, what would the prosecution's case against you look like? And, more importantly, what would you go back and change?